Hello everyone. So in the previous video we have seen a brief introduction towards Turing machine, a very theoretical introduction. So let's see some problems and how to construct in the coming videos. Then we'll revisit that previous video to understand the concepts behind it. So in a Turing machine, so what the main difference between Turing machine and push-down automata will be that in Turing machine you can move in both the directions, that is both left and right you will be able to move, where we have seen in that finite automata or push-down automata it moves in just one direction. So this is one difference, and one more difference comes is that on Turing machine you can read it and even write on the tape. So that is we'll see what I mean by read and write on the tape. So in a Turing machine you'll have something known as tape like this. This will be the tape. This is known as tape. Then there will be the control unit, or it is also known as finite control. We'll call it as control unit. Control unit, and then there will be a read write head, right? Read write head. So on the tape we'll give the input, then the Turing machine will be reading it. So let's say we are going to design a Turing machine for the language a raised to n, b raised to n is greater than or equal to 1. Okay, so assume that that's the language we want to accept. So let's take one example, simple. So a b b, this is the string present in the language. One thing to remember is Turing machine is not capable of accepting empty string. Empty string is nothing but epsilon, which is acceptable in finite automata, push down automata, but Turing machine is not going to accept it. Why? We'll see it in the next videos. So how Turing machine works is now a b b, this will be present on the tape, a b b. So this is the input. So rest all this left of input and right of input, this will be blank. So in some textbooks you may see that blank is also represented as a caret symbol, or we'll use it as, or it's used as blank b. So so how Turing machine works is, now this is the input a b b. So initially read write head will be pointing to the start of the input. So here it will be pointing. So when it sees the first A's, it marks it as seen, then moves right. So when it sees first A, it will mark it as seen. So consider X means seen for A. So it marks it as X and moves towards the right. Then when it sees first B, it will mark it as Y, then again come back. Then when it sees the A again, it marks it as X, then again moves right. So it comes to B. Like this, it comes here, it sees B, it marks it as Y, and then it will again come back to X. So here left and right there will be blanks. So when it comes back to X, then next to X it sees that there are no A's, so then it will again go right, then to make sure that there are no B's also remaining. So once no B's are remaining, so it's sure that the string is accepted by the language and we can design a Turing machine. Let's see one more example to get a better understanding. Let's take a 3 A's and 3 B's. So this is the string that will be present. So a b b b, this is the tape, right? And then we'll add some blanks, blank. Now so read write head will be pointing here. So now it starts again. So when it sees the first A, it sees it and it marks it as seen X, then it moves right. On the way there can be any number of ways, it will not do anything to it, it will just move. So whenever it sees the first way, it will make it as Y, then it will again start moving left. While moving left, there can be any number of ways, it will come, it will come till the X. Yeah, it will come till here. Now then again it moves right. So why we come till X is to make sure that this is the first unseen A remaining now. This is the first unseen A remaining. So it will come here, then start moving. So it will mark it as X, then again start moving right side. So on the way there can be any number of A's and there can be any number of Y's. So the first unmarked B is here, so it will mark it as Y. Then again it will come back till the first X. Now this is the first X. So next to it, it will come till here, till left. Then it will go again, start moving right. So this is the unmarked A. It will mark it as X. Then again start moving towards right. Then this is the unmarked B remaining. It will mark it as Y. Then again come left till the first X. So it comes to the first X. Right of, if there is any A, there should be, it should be present on the right of first X here. So there is no A remaining, so that is A. You should not stop here because you should also make sure that there are no B's remaining. So it will again move towards right and make sure that it will move till the last Y. This is the last Y, and it will see that there is no B on the right side. Next is blank. So it is sure that all A's are done, B's are done. So that will be the end, but at the end again the pointer will come and stand here at the starting. So this is not like compulsory, but it's a convention that initially read write head is started from here. So it's convention followed that at the end it stops here. So this is how a Turing machine works. Let's see, let's take 4 A's and just to get a clear idea on how it works, let's see 4 A's and then we'll see how to design a Turing machine. Okay, so A, B, 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 so then blanks, right? These are the blanks. So how will it work? Initially it will be here. So when it sees the first A, it will mark it as X. Then it will move towards right till the first B is seen. So when the first B it reaches, it marks it as Y. Then then it again start moving towards left. It moves till the first X. This is the first X now. So then when it reaches first X, it again starts moving right. So while moving right, whenever there is first A, it will mark it as X. Then it will keep moving right. While it keeps moving right, there can be any number of A's, any number of Y's in the middle. So the last Y or first Y, however you want to call it. So last Y or first Y before the unmarked B, till there it moves. Then it says this is unmarked. It will mark it as Y. Then again come back till the first X or last X, however you want to call it. So right of it, it is A, mark it as X, again go right, go right, go right, go right. This is the unseen B, Y, mark it Y, again come towards left. While moving towards left, there can be any number of Y's, any number of A's. It will move till the first X is reached. So this is the first X. Right of it again there is A, mark it as X, again it moves right. Then till unseen B is there, it marks it as Y. Then again comes left. So when it comes left, it will, now this is the first X, it comes till here. Next there is no A. So here it's understood that there are no more A's remaining. So you should not stop here because you should also make sure that no B's are also remaining. If there is an invalid string, so that should not be a case. So again move right. So it comes till here. This is the last Y. Then there are blanks. So it understood that B's are also over. So here it's sure that all A's and B's are over. This is a correct string. It's accepted. It has come here, but I told you that pointer should be in the beginning. So it's a convention that followed. So again pointer is made to come here. Here it stops. So this is how a Turing machine works. So in the next video, we'll see how to design the Turing machine for the same. Otherwise, this video will become long. So we'll see it in the next video. Thank you.